Okay, so hello everyone. One more episode of Vibe Thursdays. We are keep pushing with our calendar of events. Today we have a very special guest, Naruto. I'm going to introduce him just in a while, our secret Hokage, sharing his best takes about vibe coding here. And then we're going to continue with these events, Vibe Tuesdays and Vibe Thursdays, almost every week, like a clock, unless something happened, unless we reschedule for another day. It's going to be continuing like that because we have a Vibathon announced. We just announced it today. If you come here for our calendar, Luma dash venture miner, let me put here in the chat. You can subscribe for our calendar. You can see all of those events. You can pick your builder member, your supporter pack if you can support the calendar too. And then you're going to be included in all of those events. This idea for this Vibathon is very chill, like today's call. It's going to be very chill too, where you're going to put yourself to vibe code something without stress of payments, of subscriptions, of on private data, whatever, because it's just about gaming and like very introductory stuff. So make sure to subscribe to this calendar, attend to those events, and come vibe with us. You're going to be rewarded by participating, Artisan Fund. I don't know why this page is not loading anymore, but you're going to participate, Artisan Fund. Right now it's just a white page for some reason, but if it's not going to load, no problem. I can just present from somewhere else. You're going to participate in a Vibe Coding Fund where you can pick up to $20,000. We are growing the fund size to $20,000. Almost there, 17 so far. 2,500 to reach, where all of those projects are going to be curated by community vote. You can click here to see the fund. And the 5 best projects are going to be match funded by Artisan according to how many NFTs you can sell inside Artisan, those artifacts. You're going to be match funded dollar per dollar. So it's a great deal if your project has traction, if you have some good. You don't even need to know how to code. You just need to have some good distribution mechanisms. You are going to be well rewarded here inside this fund. And for some reason, it's not loading today. You can pick on the recordings from the other days. So this is it. This is the introduction for the whole series of events. See how this is what you asked before we started the call. So yes, we are going to have events every week, a couple days on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and bring in the best guests. Like today we have Naruto. Please present yourself. I know that you're not going to open your camera. I've seen you in person, but I'll keep your identity concealed. No worries. And I would love to have you your presentation, your explanation about yourself, the things you do in Avail, and what you think about this whole theme of vibe coding.
Hey guys, hope everyone can hear me. I go with Naruto as my name on crypto Twitter or just in crypto. So basically I don't have, like I don't try to put my picture on or something. That's why I have my camera off. But yeah, feel free to call me Naruto. Feel free to ask me any questions. I work at Avail, as a DevRel, senior DevRel. Avail is basically, if I have to like sum it up for you guys, it's something we call unification layer of Web3. And I can like, keep going more and more, but just a little bit introduction about me. Started trading crypto back in 2017 when I was in college. Very fun experience of like my friend reaching out to me, or like it was my roommate, so he just opened my door, my room's door, and he's like, do you know what Bitcoin is? And I'm like, yeah, I've heard about it a few times. And then he's like, oh, it's like stock, it keeps going up and down, and it's going up, so we should buy more. So this was my initial experience or exposure to crypto. That moment, I think I remember this was October 2017, long time back. I bought my first, like Bitcoin. Then I started getting into Ethereum. But that time I was just trading. I didn't understand how it works. Later, back in, like late 2020, I started like looking at smart contracts, because one of my friends was like, oh, do you know what these are? How do they work? And then I was introduced to like actually Solidity EVM development. So this was like 2020 and early 2021, that kind of time, and that's when everything was going up. Like people was buying NFTs. People were looking into Ethereum more and more. People were trying to build smart contracts, DeFi protocols, that kind of stuff. So that was pretty fun back then. And my experience back then was also similar. I was a computer science student. I was into AI and machine learning heavily. My research was into facial recognition models. So I did a lot of these AI, and I never expected myself to be in crypto. But as soon as I writing some Solidity code, or I saw like some NFT projects, I remember the first NFT project, of course, like Bored Ape Yacht Club. But then I looked at like this one project called World of Women, and I was like, why they're selling for 8 Ethereum? They're so expensive, right? And that's when I started getting into it, and I'm like, yeah, I think I should do this. So for last few years, I started writing these smart contracts for multiple different projects, while being like Anon or Naruto on Twitter, and people would just reach out to me for freelance gig, and I would just like basically write the code, and then they'll send me whatever payment and stuff. But this was like my thing. I liked doing it. I loved how crypto Twitter grew, how people interacted with crypto. So I was like, yeah, I think this is where I want to go. So I left machine learning back. I think in 2021, I was still working as a senior engineer at a software company, and it was like a Web2 company. So I worked there for a while, almost 3 years, and then I joined Avail. So like long story short, like I was in Web2, then moved to Web3, like everyone else. But I've been coding like since I was a kid. Um, but yeah, this is a short introduction. After that, what I did was I started working at Avail. I worked with different companies as well on working on their community, educating people, because I realized like after 2022, we need to have more developers in the space. And this space, it has its shortcomings, but it is a very nice place to be in, specifically if you're just, if you're very interested on different things, different protocols, because there's just so much to learn. So I joined Avail. Avail is basically, and the reason why I joined Avail is because I was aligned with the vision on what they do, like unification of Web3. So this was me, and I was like, yeah, well, let's try, working there. Um, any questions so far? No, yes, no.
Well, because
Yeah, this is just a basic introduction, right? But I'll share my screen actually, and this is a very old Avail uh, deck that we use at different workshops. So please, like, if there's um, some parts that are outdated, I'll point it out to you. But yeah, I'll just start like a very basic introduction of Avail, and then we'll go through like some live coding questions or anything else.
that's
Um,
good. It's like to position yourself. It's good to have this onboarding story on how you got introduced into Web3 and crypto and all like tokens or smart contracts, because we have a mixed crowd here. A lot of
mhm.
Web2 people that are hearing about Web3 with us, and a lot of Web3 people that are learning to vibe code with us. So I know that you like to point out people that are pivoting to crypto and back to AI and all. It's interesting to see your story of merging those two capabilities, right? Working Web2 and now working with Web3. And I know that Avail is bringing a lot of that to life now with verifiable computation. That's a great positioning for newcomers here.
Yeah, one thing I'd definitely recommend people is like moving from Web2 to Web3 is really cool because you get to understand the corporate structure, you get to understand on how the world works, and then now you're diving into something that is completely unstable. You don't know if you will have a product market fit in like, next 2 months or not, because everything changes in crypto very, very fast. Um, and similarly, like even at Avail, Avail was like building for like the last 4 years or so. It was under Polygon. There was a small research team that wanted to scale. They realized that Ethereum cannot scale because of the L2 roadmap. I hope you guys know what it is, But the basic idea is like Ethereum is the base layer, and then there are other rollups on top of Ethereum. These are called L2s, rollups, side chains, whatever you want to call. Everything has their own different definition. But that was a basic idea. Like it is very hard to scale, and what happens when mass adoption really comes in? Our people are going to pay so much gas fee, so much money. And this used to be me in 2021. I paid like $100 for one NFT mint back then. That used to be like there used to be gas wars and stuff like those. So yeah, they realized back in 2020, the people at Avail, that they need to scale, Ethereum, or at least have a solution. So they started building something called Avail, which was a DA layer, which is a data availability layer. And then from there, we spun out of Polygon because Polygon was an L2, and then the vision was not aligning. So we started like spinning out, and then we figured what we want to build. There are three products or three stacks, you can say, of Avail. One is Avail DA, which is mainnet right now. Then there is Avail Nexus, and then there is Avail Fusion. I will briefly, like I don't want to bombard you with a lot of knowledge, but I'll tell you briefly what it is. Avail DA is basically a data availability layer. When someone asks me what is data availability, the most basic uh, definition that I can give you is that it is a blockchain of multiple different nodes, which make sure that there is data available every single day, every single minute. If someone wants to confirm on what's going on in the behind, right? And if you look at the Ethereum architecture, so Ethereum has four different layers. One is virtual machine, or execution layer. Another one is data availability, then consensus, and then settlement layer. So these are like four layers that build the Ethereum architecture in itself. And we decided to tackle the DA part of it, or data availability part of it, because that's the most expensive. That's where every single data is stored. For example, you are using, let's say, Arbitrum. Everyone maybe have heard of Arbitrum. So when you use Arbitrum, you send transaction from one place to another, or one wallet to another wallet. What generally happens is that there's a lot of data that goes on that single transaction. And because of that data, it becomes expensive for the rollup to use. So we decided to build a DA where the data, instead of going to Ethereum directly from Arbitrum, it goes to Avail first, and then Avail is going to batch all this data and then submit it to Ethereum. So what it does is that it brings the cost down. Who is it bringing costs down for? Mostly rollups and the users. For example, there was a research I think last year or something, that Arbitrum paid $12 million in data availability, right? Their whole revenue was $12 million, and our $12 million, they paid $9 million just in data availability fees to the Ethereum. So it becomes an issue for everyone when prices are high, right? And that's why we decided to build the Avail DA. Second is Avail Nexus, which is more or less an interop solution. What I mean with interop solution is that, for example, let's say you are on two different chains. You have ZK Sync chain, which is called Sophon, and then you have another chain, which is called Abstract. These are like very nice chains. They're doing really good work. But now you want to buy an NFT from Abstract, and you have your Ethereum, or you have any kind of mode of payment on Sophon. In a general sense, right now, if I were to do this, what I have to do is I have to go to a bridge, and from the bridge, I need to take that Ethereum or USDT, USDC, and then move it to Abstract, then buy it, and then move the Abstract NFT to Sophon. So there are 5 to 7 steps. I have to bridge in money, bridge out money, that kind of situation. With Nexus, you just need to do 2 clicks, and you will be able to move your NFT from chain number 1 to chain number 2. This is what we're doing with Avail Nexus. And then there's something called Avail Fusion as well, which is more or less a staking mechanism. So in crypto world, staking basically means is that you are sending in your assets, for example, Ethereum, Bitcoin, to a chain so that that chain can economically be secured, right? That everything is fine. And then in return, you get some rewards, 5%, 6%, up to 20%. These are like general numbers in DeFi world. With Avail, you can do the same thing, but you can do multi-assets. What I mean is you can do Bitcoin, you can do Ethereum, you can do Solana, and you can stake any of it. With that, you are basically going to get yield or reward for staking. So this is like a basic, functionality of what Avail does. What I make sure that I do at Avail is that I help developers like you with any kind of questions that they have. If you're building on Avail, if you guys are trying to start your own business or Web3 startup, I help you there. If you have any questions on any kind of coding section, I help you there as well. So this is my general job, but then I also help our business partners, clients, and then just code in general as well. Any kind of integrations, templates, um, kind of protocol level engineering, all those different kind of things. So yeah, that's those are that's the basic explanation that I can give you right now. If you have any questions so far, please feel free to ask, or we can do something else.
Nice. Well, that comes on to the topic of today. Like, I know most people are using AI to code stuff, but it's also important to imagine the use case that blockchain can solve the pains of the AI technology itself, right? So, for example, a lot of those decentralized AI protocols that they are claiming to do like provable inference, provable proof that you have that model trained with that data, blah 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 blah. You have this whole claim that the blockchain can solve this problem, even though we didn't solve the problem of storing hashes or simple transactions of a few bytes. Imagine those gigabytes or maybe terabytes needed for processing all of the data inside of these models, right? These big models. I'm speaking that because I just made a decentralized AI bootcamp where I had most of these claims about verifiable AI. And when we look under the hood, it's an oracle. All of the calls are going off chain. And then you either go with the trust me, bro model, or you implement some sort of optimistic model that takes like 10 hours for you to have enough dispute period for you to trust one prompt that can be just done off chain with 10 seconds instead of waiting for 10 hours, right? So this kind of data availability problem is still a big stuff to be solved with decentralized AI protocols. And it's like teenager sex. Everyone is saying that they are doing it, they know what it is, but no one can actually prove that they did, right? What are your takes on that, my friend? I know Naruto is known for the hot takes on this. Maybe we start spilling some fire here.
Can you ask the question again? I'm sorry.
About data availability for AI, decentralized AI, as they call, right? For proving AI models, training, execution, all of that.
Yeah, I don't think there is anything called decentralized AI. It's just a marketing term that they coined, honestly saying. AI has always been a black box. I worked in a research lab. We built large models. They were not similar to like LLMs, but they were still a lot of like training neural networks kind of shit. And anything that happens in, for example, let's say neural network, right? You cannot really say because there are multiple heuristics that are considered, and it's a black box on how the AI comes to that solution. So that is not really something like that people can do with. What people are now doing is that they are trying to figure out a way where they look at the end result and then they say that, oh, this is AI generated, and then they kind of prove it uh, that it is AI. It's not human generated. That's what I think. What, let's say, Eigenlayer is doing. They're trying to do verifiable stuff with AI, similar to that. Um, but in general, there's nothing something called decentralized AI. I do not understand why would they say it. You cannot have AI and then you cannot have decentralization at the same place. Um, Yeah.
Yeah, and what about all of those Eliza OS Twitter bots that they are calling that are decentralized? Are them all fake, bro? Sure.
No, they're not decentralized. All they are is basically a GPT wrapper. If someone ever starts the code of Eliza, they'll see that at some point they ask for your OpenAI keys, right? So that means that they're using GPT. They can do the same for Claude. They can do the same for Anthropic and stuff. Or you can also put in like Facebook Lemma. I think that's the model. So in general, they're using a GPT. They are not decentralized. They're nothing. It's basically a marketing gimmick.
Interesting to hear that from you. Yeah, it is a market tricking that is working, right? They can raise a lot of of capital doing that, but we gotta watch there what they're claiming that is decentralized might not be that decentralized, right? Maybe it's just a marketing stunt. Maybe you have some distribution of computation, but not true decentralization, right?
Yep, yep. That's true. You can have like different kind of computes. You can do some kind of you know other stuff, but there's no decentralization in the AI. I got a question. Which chains are you familiar with? Are you open for working on other projects? I am not open to work on other projects, but I'm pretty much familiar with most chains that are EVM based. Apart from EVM, I'm a little bit, familiar with Solana architecture. But apart from that, I don't know anything about, let's say, Flow, Algorand. Yeah, I don't know anything about Algorand, at least like on the technical level. Because Algorand is like 2021 thing, 2020 thing. So it started like way, few years back. And my start was from Ethereum, and I'm like a big Ethereum maxi. So Ethereum, Solana, Monad is a new one, which is an L1. So I'm familiar with Monad stuff as well. And then any kind of, let's say, base Arbitrum, because these are all EVM based.
Nice. Sergey, you're asking because you're looking to deploy projects with those chains, right?
Correct. Yes. Yes, Matthias, correct.
It depends on what kind of project you want to build and what's your end goal. So let's just say that you want to, like make money. Solana is somewhere you should look at, you know. I'll be very honest with you. Solana, there was this one, I don't know if you know Matthias, but basically the Believe app, that is something launched on Solana, and the app made $28 million in like 4 days. The guy took 50% of it. So that was crazy, right? Um, that happens because Solana has a lot of degens who just throw their money at anything. It really depends on what the focus is. If you want a project for long term, let's say 2 years, 3 years, you want to raise funds, then you would want to look at, let's say, um, Base, Arbitrum, Mega ETH, these kind of chains.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice. And especially the team, like community building in Solana. Solana is beautiful. The super team here in Brazil, it's
Hmm.
working so hard, like compared to the Ethereum stuff. That I wish we had a chain with Ethereum bases and solidness and Solana's DevRel team. That would be the super chain of the future, right? Maybe, don't know, emerge. Let's see what comes in the future. But it's nice
For
to
sure.
see Naruto, that you recommend Solana for like making money, most on the Jane stuff and all, because we are seeing a lot of AI launch pads there, like dev.fun. Don't know if you checked this one recently. You can just vibe code a
Yeah.
game there and
Hmm.
make like millions, yeah, almost instantly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine that was your moment, like you saw your roommate looking at some charts going up and down. Maybe this is
Hmm.
going to be the origin story of someone else. I saw my roommate vibe coding a game in Solana and became millionaire, and I followed.
That happens a lot, at least in the Solana architecture, because a lot of people definitely are, like just throwing in money and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to vibe coding, I would say like um, I've been working with ChatGPT's O3 model, and that's pretty good. Like you don't even need to like do some vibe coding thing. It will actually write you very good code. I needed some help with code yesterday, and generally it would take me like a whole day to figure out things if I didn't have ChatGPT. But it took me an hour, maybe an hour, 2 hours, right? Back then, like 2017, I used to write code and then look at Substack and then find something on Google. We didn't have AI, this kind of AI, right? And now it just makes it a lot easier.
We had to use the old and good Stack Overflow. I just suffer with the bugs sometimes, right? I've been telling everyone vibe coding things out there with those good models, like you gotta keep some bugs. Because if you solve all the bugs, we lose our jobs, right? And whenever you solve a
Yeah.
problem, you gotta create a few more so we keep jobs for everyone.
Yep. Yep.
That's
That's true.
good. And you have a lot of background in security too, right? And of like smart contract audits, this kind of more like a protocol work, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people have been criticizing a lot of vibe coding because they produce a lot of bugs in the smart contracts and all. I don't know how you see that evolving, if the models are better now, if we can use tools like MCP to prevent AI from hallucinating, or if it's still pure shit for vibe coding smart contracts and
Um,
we
yeah,
should avoid it.
so see, that's the problem with the cryptos, with the AI and the, just any kind of model actually, or cursor or whatever you want to use. The problem here is that these models will do whatever you want them to do. For example, if I say, "Oh, this code is not right," write me a different code, it will write that, right? But the AI doesn't know how good it is, or like when it comes to smart contracts, it will make a lot of mistakes. That's the biggest problem, because if smart contracts, if you deploy them once, they're immutable. You cannot change them. Nothing is going to happen. And it becomes a big problem. It's easy to get hacked in crypto world, specifically because there are a lot of different, North Korean hackers online 24/7. There are a lot of bots running that are constantly looking to like, pick your private keys from GitHub. They're just scanning or like, what do you call it? They just looking at the APIs of Twitter. They're trying to get the information as much as possible, and then it's very easy to get hacked. So that's why I am very much, in agreement with people not using AI specifically for any production code. Or even if they use it, there needs to be like final team of auditors who look at the code and they realize, oh yeah, there's a bug there. Like even if you take a smart contract and you say to AI, can you find some kind of error or bug into it? It will scan it, it will probably find it, but then it will miss other things, right? So that becomes a big problem when you're looking for these kind of AI things and they mess up because it's a real money. People will lose, millions of dollars. Back in I think 2022, there was a hack. There was a bridge hack by Nomad. Nomad was the bridge that got hacked for I think $18 million. And imagine if we try to build something similar and then we just mess up, it's going to be a big problem because we will be blaming to AI. So I really don't like the idea.
Two, 200, 200, like 200 millions, right?
Was
That
it 200 million? Yeah,
let
I
me
don't
check.
remember exact number. Yeah.
Yeah, the bridge to yeah, right in the fields. So yeah, this kind of thing. Maybe the whole vibe coding trend for smart contracts is being sponsored by North Korea, right? That could be a revenue stream from them, right?
True, true. That's true. Like I think they've just hacked a lot of things.
That's cool. We have more questions from the audience. Let's see who's building stuff. Like if you're building vibe coded smart contract right now, maybe it's time for you to go
Yeah, I
back
would
from your.
say, vibe code. Try to vibe code a website, like front end and the back end, but never vibe code anything that is related to smart contracts.
Yeah, this is why we have a vibe coding hackathon about games. That can be a fun thing. Maybe we do a smart contract about that, but something chill. No money deposit on mainnet probably before an audit. That can work. Maybe Naruto, you can come and give a lesson for them about smart contract security.
Yeah. When is the vibe coding hackathon? That is a you question.
Yeah, I've just announced that maybe I need to point this out again. So if you go for the calendar of Venture Miner on Luma, let me paste that in the chat here. And you are going to see the next events in the cities, and you are going to see the last one in the upcoming events is the Vibathon, and we're going to see an option for you to apply as a member. If you don't have a membership pass, you can just buy for 100 Sol in Solana. Just kidding, I'm not using Solana for that. You can just apply; it's for free, and you can go there directly. If not, you can apply still with your project. You just need to vibe code a landing page, something like that. Like Naruto is saying, start with something very chill, vibe code a landing page in 10 minutes, and then you apply with it. Okay. It's going to start next week, and I'm going to speak about that. We have some match funding available from Artisan. This platform is funding the whole thing, the whole activations for supporting vibe coders, early stage vibe coders. Even if you don't know how to code, you should be able to deploy something there with Artisan. It's built for artists. So the objective of this hackathon is exactly that for you to submit vibe coded projects, early stage vibe coded projects for Artisan season 6. Okay. Now, questions about Avail, people, about the ideas of using data availability for blockchain stuff. Whenever we see those claims about ultra scalable blockchains out there, Arbitrum, Mega ETH, Base, blah, blah, we might see them succeeding in the transaction speed, yes, but like Naruto was saying, maybe they are burning half of this money just paying for data availability on Ethereum. Maybe that is a better solution, right?
Uh, yeah, definitely. And if people are coding for a hackathon, I would say come up with the ideas. You can actually just ask the AI for any kind of ideas, but you should always find some ideas that are very unique. When I go to hackathons, and I've been doing hackathons for like a lot of years now, it's always the issue of uh, everyone building the same kind of things. Like what I find in hackathon in, let's say, January, I'll find a very similar thing in April, right? Because the code is online, there's some help online and all different kind of stuff, and then it becomes an issue. Like companies don't want to see the same kind of codes or same kind of projects. So if you really want to build something, try to figure out on what is a new narrative that you can pull off? What is a new thing that no one has done it? Or genuinely try to solve a problem. Like back then in Web2, hackathons used to be something like, oh, I want to solve this problem. I don't want to win the bounty, right? And then it becomes a problem when people just want to build something to win the bounties. So, yeah, that's gonna be like my advice if you are looking to hack in any of the hackathons. There are like multiple of the hackathons online, and you can select any one of them.
Yeah, this is an interesting take too. All of you newcomers to Web3, you're going to find that most of those hackathons have specific bounties for like deploy your smart contract in this blockchain, blah, blah. That's not very common in normal Web2 hackathons. Normal Web2 hackathons, sometimes we don't even have a bounty. It's just like people trying to learn something and build something cool, right? So this can get confusing.
Yep.
especially
Yep.
if global hackathons and this kind of, and those are one of the best organized ones that I know of. So it can get confusing. Like Naruto say, there is a lot of people that just submit the same project again and again, and then end up earning some money of that, like bounty hunters. Here, speaking about people that are trying to build a new product, maybe a new SaaS, a new game, or something like this, right? So it's good to gather inspiration from there.
Yep. Exactly.
Can you name some good ideas Naruto, that come on top of your mind for people to vibe code, something lightweight that wouldn't include too much money, but could be a fun experiment for trying out? Maybe using Avail.
Uh, yeah. So, for example, I'm trying to build this one, uh, you know, kind of like a Pokemon game. It's not exactly a Pokemon game, but some kind of inspiration on top of Mega ETH. And then every kind of data is stored on a wheel. So that's what I'm trying to do on that part. You can figure out some mechanism on like everyone mints an NFT, and then they get rewards for doing some work, that kind of stuff. The best thing that I actually liked, let me share. Uh, one second. I
Naruto,
really loved. Yes, please go on.
Naruto vibe coding a Pokemon game. Are you not going to like mix the two IPs together?
No. I'm not gonna work on that.
Just
Uh,
kidding.
let me find where did I? I'm pretty sure I saved that game. This is actually very. It's a Web 2 game. I used to play it as a kid. I don't know how many people looked into it. Yeah, I found it. Let me share my screen. Can you see this?
It's loading.
Mm,
Okay, got it.
yeah. So this is like one game that, you keep playing and you killed another snake and then you steal their money or like kind of take their money because now they're out. So this is actually pretty interesting. A lot of people, started playing it. A lot of people made money, lost money on it, but now they're playing with real money here. So this is a very interesting game.
Nice. It's called
Um,
Slither, this game, right?
uh,
Slither.io, I guess.
yeah, this is basically what they did is this was actually a Web 2 game. We used to play it, but then they converted into a Web 3 game. Uh, oh shit, I have to log in. I can't log in. Anyway,
But how
but
come MetaMask is not popping up every time they press a key? That's not
uh,
a true Web3 experience.
yeah, that's true. I think you need to like register first, and then they create like some kind of wallet through Privy. But it's very interesting because now you're taking a Web 2 thing that people love, and then you're converting into a Web 3 game, right? Just very interesting, and then people are gonna gamble on it, that kind of situation. So you should definitely like look into something like this. So any kind of like these games which are fun for people, these are very nice things.
Nice, good ideas, especially for the gaming hackathon that we're going to have. Again,
Mm,
gaming is chill because you don't need to worry with like subscriptions and complaints about the users. Oh, my data was leaked and all. It's just a game. The worst that you can do is like not being a fun game. But as Naruto say, you can add some layer of like gambling on top of it or some social benefits, right? And then if you want to get rich, deploy deploy on Solana and
yeah,
launch a DJing token.
yeah. This game was launched on Solana actually.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's funny because it's not something about the technology itself. It's more about the community, right? The kind
Yeah.
of DJs that we have in Solana.
Yep. For sure. Exactly.
Interesting.
So that's why it's more about the degens. There are a lot of people with a lot of money in Solana ecosystem, so they do it as well. So basically everything. Even though like Solana is a very shitty dev experience, like it's very hard to build on it, but it's still doable.
Nice, nice. Well, that's a good one. Do you have any suggestions for communities inside of Ethereum, maybe some layer two community and all, where you can find this kind of support, Solana like support too?
I think base. I have some contrasting, experience with base, but like people are still excited to build on base. Arbitrum is another one. A lot of people are in the Arbitrum community. Mega ETH is a good one. Monad is not layer two, but Monad is also one of those. And then I think, what am I missing? I'm missing one more that I can't remember. Yeah, but like on top of my head, these are the ones that you should be looking at.
Nice. I remember Polygon had that narrative of like gaming chain at the time of
Yeah.
running and Axie Infinity, just before like Avail came from Polygon. I don't know how much you are comfortable to speak about that.
No, Polygon basically moved or shifted their you know work from just the developers building on top of them to institutional side as well. So now they're very much focused on the institutions, on who comes in and who doesn't, and what they do and how they do it. That's why they're very much into that kind of sector now. But Polygon, like if you come up with a very great idea, you can definitely work at Polygon. Work with Polygon. They have good dev community. They have good support. Their co-founder Sandeep is like someone who helps everyone. So definitely, like if you have a great idea, you can do it. Cardano and Tezos. I don't know about Tezos particularly because I think it's slowly dying. I would say that. Cardano is still, like I've never met so many devs from Cardano, but it has a lot of money still. Um, a lot of holders as well, a lot of people who hold that coin. I personally hold it from 2021. I have forgotten about it, and I'm in loss for that money. But I still, like I still have it, and I know that their CTO. I actually met their CTO, and I think it was Thailand in Dev Connect, and we had a chat about it as well. So they're trying to build something. So Cardano definitely they're it's working, but Tezos I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, nice. The rule is clear. If I have this token in my bag, I speak positively about that. If it not, I shit on it, right? You
Yeah.
gotta keep true to our fundamentals. Just kidding, just kidding. I know it's like any token right now can do like Ripple. It was dead until it wasn't anymore, right? And it became the next thing.
See, yeah, see, okay, I'll explain you how it works. Um, for me, I don't have a biasness on like what is good. If I have that if I have that token that I bought it and the product is still shit, I will still call them out. Um, but these altcoins, Cardano or Tezos or XRP, they are not really building something great. They are basically trying to work either with institution or some other stuff. Because, for example, XRP had like this huge bump. No one expected that. Like in crypto community, on Twitter, in different multiple hundreds of groups, no one expected that Cardano will pump up that much, right? And the reason why it pumped is because it is backed by institutions. Those institutions are backed by very powerful people, and that's the whole idea. A token or a crypto coin is a different product and a project that is connected to it. For example, let's say Ethereum. So Ethereum is a coin. It's a product in itself, But then there is also like a whole protocol and then architecture and the software which you use. Token is always considered a different product in general terms.
Interesting. Like all of this decision between the chains and all, you gotta study the product, the community, of course, but also, unfortunately, even as a dev, you gotta study a bit of the politics going behind because
Yeah,
things can happen, right? We just
yeah.
had a recent example with movement. It was very
Hmm.
traumatic, and it's kind of you're saying, right? Now there is always like some institutions behind, some people behind, sometimes even some like corruption behind, and things happen, right?
Yeah, you're right. Ethereum, I can't say a lot of things about Ethereum right now, but I know that Ethereum has a good internal politics. There are multiple different projects that they have, like internal politics. So it's not, all rainbow and a good garden there. Everything has its own issues for sure.
Always, always. So the current situation we have here in this community, 200 something vibe coders is starting to deploy the projects, launching maybe their first NFTs and all. How would you suggest them to navigate this landscape? Like who not saying that you should tell names here, but who would you vet or who would you suggest people to follow in this community? Like we had Austin Griffith, Patrick Skinner, we're having you
Hmm.
people that we can look for that they are not going to sell their soul
Hmm.
for speaking well about a protocol and not just because they are paid for it or influenced by it, right? How would you suggest people to navigate this?
Okay. I would say uh, it, it's a very difficult question because it depends on what you want to do in life. If your own goal is to make money, then you can choose to select anything. If your goal in life is to be honest and not sell your soul, then you can, follow some other people. But to me, the most basic thing that I go for is I try to look up on people's understanding and education on crypto, and how good that they are and what they're saying. So, for example, there is someone that I used to love or was a big fan of because I thought, oh, they're like a great person. They can, explain any kind of architecture. But as you get closer to them, you realize that there are so many other people. So what I look for is I look for researchers who are trying to push the space forward. So these are mostly Ethereum researchers, Solana researchers, and then I look at their GitHubs. I look what they're building. Like, okay, they're talking about it, but are they actually working on the project as well or not? Right? What is their research? If I'll give you best example, I love Dank Shred. I don't know if people know about him. One second. He is one of the biggest Ethereum researchers. One second, I can't find his website. Dankred, sorry. And then these
Yeah.
are the people who do not care about the prices. They don't care about getting rich. They specifically just want to build something, learn something, that kind of stuff. Then there is Geo Georgius. I'm a big fan of Geo Georgius. Like, there is no doubt about it. One second, let me find his link. He has to be one of the, you know, best persons that I've learned from. I've looked into his, work so deeply. He's a big researcher. That kind of thing. Patrick Collins is great. I don't know if you want to learn Solidity, you don't need to like have someone here. You can literally watch any of his videos on YouTube or his company Cyprin.
Second,
There's
brother.
so much to learn.
I was just
Um,
messaging Vito today, by the way.
oh yeah, Vito. Vito is a really nice guy. I love Vito.
Do you guys still hit the gym together? I remember there
Sorry.
was a phase that you guys were working out together, right?
Yeah,
Trying to
yeah.
get pumped.
Yeah. Me and Vito, we used to vibe a lot, but now his like entire focus is ciphering, and it is a little bit different from DevRel stuff. So this is that, and let me see. Oh, you want to look at what's his name? Shit, I forgot. Name, eat. There was a researcher that I cannot remember right now. But yeah, these are the major researchers. Justin Drake is another one. Is it Justin Drake?
Nice.
Yeah. So
So,
these
so
are
for
like
example,
major researchers.
Vitalik is not on the top of a list. This is
No, Vitalik is. I would expect everyone knows Vitalik for sure. Vitalik's blog. It take me a long time to like just understand these blogs, honestly. So Vitalik is definitely one of those people as well.
yeah.
So these are the
Well,
people that I like, follow very closely.
wonderful. I was just like showing one of his papers so people like getting started and all, and he was speaking about meme coins. And then I went through like half an hour explanation about meme coins and the whole lore and all, and then we got to the paper of Vitalik saying that no, yeah, we can have good meme coins if they have like a social effect. It's good to see those takes because most of these people I see, even like you know, that are researching blockchain for more than a few years, you guys are used to like very high level discussions, right? So it's important to give all of the basis for the newcomers to understand what you guys is speaking about, like optimizing data availability for blockchain. Oh, that's supreme, but also let's guide people on how to get to understand that this is a real problem, because at the same time we have chains like, for example, Loved Solana. We have the blockchain going offline once or twice per year, right?
Yep.
This kind of repercussions of technical decisions are very important, and we only get to see them when it's too late, right?
Yep. Exactly. Um, yeah, but I think that's all that I have for you guys today. Any more questions? Anything else?
Well, we're almost wrapping up. If you want to give your socials links for people to reach
Yeah.
out to you, Naruto, we're going to have people watching these videos later. Also, people in Europe time zones, even India, Africa, have a lot
Yeah.
of communities in these places too. They're going to be watching these videos later. We're going to have the transcript, the chat history too for them to access. Maybe you want to drop your socials there in the
Yeah.
chat. People want to contact with you later.
Yep.
Do
I
you have
just dropped one.
any call to actions for Avail, like next hackathons or next programs that you want people to subscribe, page for them to follow?
I would say we are going to be in France at ETC, then we are going to be in Argentina in November. And then we will probably have an online hackathon later on. But I'll send you the info when I have more info about that.
Okay, you gotta pull Kyle for the barbecue then, or the asado as they call it in Argentina.
For sure, for sure. We're gonna do a lot of things in Argentina. We're gonna have like a soccer tournament, workshops, everything different.
That's good. Hey people, if Naruto invite you for a hacker house, check the check the fine print.
Yeah, I host a lot of Hacker House. If you come through it, then just remember that you'll be a prisoner. You won't be allowed to go. You won't be allowed to go out, but you will hack something really nice.
But you'll be well fed, so it's kind of
Yes,
a
you'll get
nice experience.
everything you want, but you will have to sit there in the workshops and code.
We have a friend Armando in the community that had a great
Yes.
recommendation about your hacker houses, Naruto. But it's a gem. Well, this is it. Any last questions, please feel free to reach out to Naruto in the socials and the links he put here. Let's follow all of those researchers to have some like almost unbiased or as unbiased as we can opinions on how to get to Web3 and how to navigate this landscape. So I would like to thank you, Naruto, for coming today, sharing your wisdom with the crowd here. It was
Thanks a lot
very
for having me, guys.
them to understand the landscape, and I'm excited to see what they're going to build next.
Yep, for sure. Take care, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye. Stop recording here. Okay.